Hi, everyone. This is Jeffrey Geisner from the Obligations of Memory podcast for the Jewish Culture and Holocaust Remembrance Group on Facebook and YouTube. And we're continuing our discussion with Michael Simonson from Leo Baeck Institute. And Michael was sort of giving us his step up through high school and how he has found the Holocaust through his education. And I was asking him which university he was going to attend. And I'm guessing it's University of Minnesota, but we'll see if that's the right answer.
Well, actually, so in high school, yes, I knew a lot about the Holocaust. And I would, even when they came up to those courses in 5th, 6th, 7th grade, I would teach the class for the day. So yeah, because I really knew a lot. I read a lot about it. I was very interested. And also when I was confirmed in the Lutheran Church, my speech was about the Holocaust, actually.
So what did the audience say about that?
I don't know what they really. I was in a very little town, 1,200 people.
Wow.
So people were just, I'm sure it was a very unusual, but people seemed to think. I wanted people to think about it, because of course, when you grow up in the church and you grow up in this kind of, small town little world, people don't always come to terms with larger events that happen. Like, how did Christians let this happen? And that was kind of what I wanted to talk about and didn't have any answers for. And so that was.
So what did the clergy at your church?
Oh, they were very supportive, for sure. They were very supportive, but I think they were. And the people who listened in the church and everything, they were very supportive. I think though it was not your usual small town Lutheran confirmation,
And were there Jews in your town?
No, not that I knew of. Only Catholics and Lutherans. And so, the Catholics live more, it wasn't a set rule, but the Lutherans lived more like farming outside of town, and the church was a country church. And then in town was the Catholic Church. It was a very Czech, actually, town, which and when I think about it, I was always very interested in Central European culture. And I think part of it is honestly because I was in this Czech community. And so I was interested, in the history of Central Europe.
My mother was from Košice, Czechoslovakia.
Oh, sure.
And she was deported to Auschwitz in May of 1944 with her whole family. So we have so many things that overlap. So tell me, where did you go to the university?
So I actually went to Hamlin. First, I went to Normandale, the community college in Bloomington, and then I went to Hamlin, and I majored in English literature. And I did take a class or two about the Holocaust, however, also, and I took German. I'd always wanted to take German. This was a big impetus because we didn't have German in my high school. We only had Spanish or French. You had to take one of them. Oh, wait, no, there wasn't French. There was only Spanish. Sorry, I think there was only Spanish. I'm sure, because I think I would have taken French otherwise. So that was it. So I took Spanish, but I always wanted to take German. So I went to Normandale. I was able to start taking German. And then I took German 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years at Normandale combined with at Hamlin. And and then as part of those German programs, I did some work with literature and with the literature of Jewish literature in Germany. And so I wrote some about that, but I really was staying on this English literature track. Then I graduated. During that time, I had also come out as gay. And I decided to move. I went to a few places, but I had no real plan. And I didn't want to do any more academia because I was kind of burned out from it. So
So do you have an advanced degree or you just have a back?
So I only had my BA from there.
Okay.
Then I moved at one point. I ended up in New York City, where I am now to this day. And
and what year was that?
1996, I believe. And I was here in New York, and I worked as a waiter. And I was still very interested in the Holocaust, read a lot about it and so on. And then I, after a number of years working in restaurants, which I really enjoyed, and I think was actually really helpful for my career because, customer service is a lot like reference work. And there's a lot of similarities. And I decided to go back to school. I'd always been wondering what to do because I no longer really wanted to be a professor. And I wasn't interested in writing, and of course, that's such a huge part of the academic life. So I thought, well, I'd rather find another way around. So I used to wait on this table of elderly gay men. And I used to talk to them, and it was a restaurant in the West Village where I worked. And I was talking to them one day and I said, I don't know what to do. I guess I can't be a waiter forever. I'm already now in my mid-30s, so I probably should find something else that's a little more stable. And if I don't really know what to do. And they said, you should do what we did. And actually, I never had known what they did. I said, what did you do? I said, oh, we were all retired librarians. So I was like, you'd be perfect working in a library. And I thought, oh, I can do that. I mean, in this very naive way. I like books. I like to read, this kind of ridiculous. Now looking at it, of course, it was rather ridiculous. But I thought, that's what I'm going to do. That's perfect. I've always loved libraries. And, in truth, Jeffrey, I wonder why I didn't think of it earlier. I always loved libraries, but I think growing up in these small towns and stuff, it was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of like, in my head, it was just something I could do. It was something that other people did. And I didn't even know about library school programs or anything. So I guess I was just always on this English literature track. So I went to Pratt University here in New York, which is a library school. And while I was there, I remembered Leo Baeck. I always knew about Leo Baeck from Minnesota because I'd read it and see there were sources there and so on. And I think, oh, someday it'd be cool to go see it, pre-computer world, right? Someday I'll go there and I'll check it out. And then I did end up living in New York. I had pretty much forgotten about it. Then one day I was thinking, oh, I should probably, look for an internship or something and could do it officially through the school, but I could also just do it on my own. And there were a few internships I had, but one of them, I decided to check the Leo Baeck because I thought, well, I know it's here in New York. It must be around here. Now in the age of the internet, I can just look it up. So I did. And it was really like just a few blocks from my school, which is on 14th Street here in Manhattan. And they're on 16th. It was literally like 3 blocks. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I went over there. I applied for an internship position. And they saw I was very interested in it. And they thought it would be a good fit. So then I started there as an intern. Then later, a position opened and they hired me.
So I want to let everyone know we've concluded our first 30 minutes of a terrific conversation with Michael Simonson from Leo Baeck. We're going to be coming back shortly and we'll continue our discussion. We have lots more of interesting facts that Michael will share with us. So come on back. We'll see you in a couple minutes.